let's talk about energy. For pretty much all of human history, it's been about heat, right? Fire, steam, sunlight. But what if our next giant leap had nothing to do with heat? What if the real untapped power source isn't hot, but cold? I mean, the absolute profound cold of deep space itself.
Just let that sink in for a second. Imagine a power source that sidesteps basically every problem we have with energy in space. One that doesn't care if it's day or night, can't be smothered by a Martian dust storm, and literally never runs out of fuel. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that is the incredible promise we're going to dig into today.
Okay, so what is the seemingly magic machine? It's called the Cryo-Thermo Harvester, and you can think of it as this quiet titan, a technology that turns the silent, frozen void into its own personal power plant.
Right, so how in the world do you build a machine that runs on cold? It sounds kind of backwards. Well, the best way to think about it is like a cosmic fisherman. Seriously. But instead of casting a net for fish, it's casting it into the huge temperature gap between a warm spacecraft and the freezing vacuum all around it.
And when you look at the advantages, it's staggering. No fuel? That means missions could last for decades, maybe even centuries. Immunity to dust storms? That's an absolute game changer for Mars. And since it doesn't need any light, you could power a base on the dark side of the moon or a probe way out past Pluto. It is the ultimate set it and forget it power source. So what's the secret here? What's the trick? Well, it isn't magic. Not at all. It's just really, really elegant physics. The whole thing hinges on a concept you can think of as a cosmic waterfall, an invisible river of energy that's flowing all around us, everywhere in space.
So where does this river come from? It's actually super simple. On one side, you have the warmth from any operating spacecraft, its computers, its systems. On the other side, literally inches away, you have the near absolute zero of deep space. That massive, massive temperature gap, that's the key. Now, the technical term for this is a temperature differential, but don't let the jargon fool you. This isn't just some number on a chart. It's a law of nature. Just like water always flows downhill, energy always wants to flow from a hot place to a cold place. That flow, that movement is power, and it's happening constantly, everywhere.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The natural flow of heat escaping into the cold, that is the cosmic waterfall. And the Cryo-Thermo Harvester is basically the first machine smart enough to stick a kind of turbine right in the middle of that flow and just harness its power.
But hold on, when I say turbine, don't picture giant spinning blades. This is way more advanced. It's a solid-state system. It uses these special materials that physically contract and expand back and forth in perfect rhythm with the cold. It's less like a piece of hardware and more like a living heartbeat, just endlessly pulsing energy right out of the cosmos. So we have this incredible, fuelless engine that effectively breathes energy. But the big question is, where does this new player fit in? How does it stack up against the technologies we're already using to power everything in space?
Well, you can see the whole ecosystem right here. Solar is our workhorse, no doubt, but it's limited by light and conditions. Nuclear, that's our heavy lifter for the really deep space missions, but it's incredibly complex. The Cryo-Thermo Harvester carves out this brand new niche for itself. Steady, reliable, maintenance-free power for missions that need to last a very, very long time. Now, having a new power source is amazing on its own, but this is where the idea gets truly revolutionary. The Harvester's biggest potential isn't just in powering a probe, it's in actively building our future in space. It all comes down to this incredible feedback loop, a kind of snowball effect. So it starts small. One construction drone, powered by a harvester, can now work forever. Then a whole fleet of them starts building a bigger structure. And here's the wild part. The larger that structure gets, the better it radiates heat away, which makes the harvesters attached to it even more powerful. The construction literally feeds its own energy supply. Just take a moment and really think about that. This would be the first construction system in all of human history where the very act of building creates more energy than it uses. Megastructures could literally grow like frost on a window pane, blossoming into orbital shipyards or giant factories, all while powering themselves up. When you start connecting all these dots, you realize this isn't just some engineering breakthrough. This is a fundamental shift in our entire relationship with energy. It could very well mark the beginning of a brand new chapter for humanity. The story of humanity really is the story of energy. Fire gave us civilization.
Steam-powered industry. Electricity created the modern world we live in. Nuclear gave us the power of the atom. And now, the cryo-thermo age could be what's next. The moment we stop just using resources we find in the universe, and we start using the universe itself as our generator.
You know, when the engineers first saw this tech actually work, there was this quiet sense of awe in the room. And it was captured perfectly by this one thought. They had created a machine that didn't need them anymore. It would just keep running, silently and perfectly, for as long as the universe itself stays cold.
So it seems we found a way to plug our civilization directly into the background engine of the cosmos. We've tapped into a power source as reliable and as ancient as the stars themselves. You could almost say the universe just paid its first electric bill. The only question left for us to answer is, what are we going to build with it?